Yo, what's up? Oh man. I'm tired of coughing. You left them in for way too long? What the heck happened to your instant noodles? Did they become like instant paste or what happened? Soggy. Oh. Oh, my mic is really hot today. Weird. They ounced it now. I don't know if you can tell my voice is like all types of weird right now. I sound ridiculous. Oh yeah, you get to hear that cough too. Oh man. Anik, how you doing? So we'll see how this is going with the stream. If the cough is too much, I'll cut it. Bronchitis? Nah, just the endless cough after a cold. It's pretty fun. Looking at starting the challenge. Oh my gosh, let's go. Yeah, when are the Game Awards? Are they starting now, or are they like in like an hour? Because there's some announcements I know that are coming. I want to see them. I'll mute myself whenever I cough, or I'll try to. We'll see how it goes. But let's get into this. Let me find my music. Got some people posting stuff too. This is great. Stream critiques. Let's go. Reno, me as well. Me as well. But all right. Let's see. Let's see how this goes. I anticipate I'm going to be coughing a lot. So I'll try and mute. Sandy, hey, thank you for the resubs. 20 months. That is crazy. I really appreciate that. Thank you. In 5 hours? Oh man, I'll be asleep. It's 8:13 in the evening. Okay. Let's hop in now. Just close this, open a new window in Photoshop in case we need to do any Photoshopping. Nice. I'm gonna open some of these up. Ooh, Poodlestein, I see you using the Empire Planner. Okay. Oh my gosh, that 20 months is crazy. Okay, how am I gonna do this? I'm gonna bring this over here. I'm gonna put this over here. And then we can open up a few more, I think. Yes. Nice, nice, nice. Oh man, there's some good stuff in here. Finished this yesterday. Would love some feedback. I would love to give you some feedback. So, first up, we got Poodlestein. Poodlestein, it says you're at Carbon Studio. Oh, I'm so sorry. But yeah, so you've been blocking out this Blade Runner scene. VR stuff, nice. We gotta get you that yellow. There you go. But yeah, you've been blocking out this Blade Runner scene. Have some proportion issues to work out, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts. I mean, the patterns are always interesting in this franchise. Oh boy. Um, it's his somewhere. Usually you'll catch it on stream and you can screenshot it then. Most of the time I put it behind the Patreon wall, but I can get it for you. So it looks like you've done some block out. You've done your initial propping, block out propping as well, and your initial lighting pass. So you're getting in there. You're getting pretty far already. Like if we look at here, you've got your reference gathering is pretty on point. Your image breakdown, I assume, is this guy down here. And on the spot, no, it's okay. It is all good. And then you've blocked out your infrastructure, so you're looking at walls and primary elements like the pillars. And then you blocked out your props, and you've even propped with it. And you've even figured out some camera angles to combine with a initial lighting pass. So you're somewhere around here. You're looking at composition, framing, base lighting pass, and just kind of figuring out how your scene is going to look. Is that what I'm seeing? Is that correct? I'll ask you this question while I dig around for that image. We're taking it a little slow today as well because I'm probably going to lose my voice. I anticipate it's about to go down. I think it's got a new color setup now, Poodlestein. But it's immensely helpful. Yeah, I wouldn't suggest sticking to it 100%. Especially if your time scale, like in mine, the time scale is 12 weeks, right? And the top bar is a cadence of like when to show the public and when to ask for feedback. So that way it's kind of like training you to be thinking about how you operate on social media when it comes to exposing your art to the public. But yeah, let's see if we can zoom in. How's that? I just rewatched this yesterday. Nice. How you doing, Red? Right. So let's keep on. So yeah, I would say you're somewhere around the you're getting close to the like actually starting the creation of the assets. It looks like a lot of the materials are pretty simple as well when it comes to the walls and stuff. So finding ways to make those interesting. I think it's going to be all about the material representation and making sure that your shadows have the right kind of feel to them. Because it's very cinema the way that this is lit. Not necessarily very real. So that's going to be a little difficult to capture, I think. But looking at this image, I mean, it's looking pretty good. I don't know how much of it you want to model versus like bake down, like this table, for example. I don't know if that's actually baked or not. Materials is one of the things I really want to focus on. I mean, this is a great scene for this then, because you're just looking at lighting and materials. It's looking good though. I would see if you can find out what camera lenses they were using for that film, because it'll probably help you get a better FOV or an accurate like representation of the space, matching it to the films a little bit closer. But I don't have any feedback otherwise to give on this currently. I think if you get some rough materials on everything, that'll help you balance your lighting a little bit more. And by rough materials, I mean just like an average, like constant roughness and an averaged albedo. Doesn't have to be an actual texture yet. Right. Let's keep it moving, huh? The next one's actually I don't know how to say your name. Shaba? I feel like I'm saying that wrong. But let's take a look here. So, you just finished this as well. It's my first stylized art in Unreal Engine. Anything you would like to mention or area I can improve on? Thanks. Spirited Away, inspired stylized scene. Reno? I can say Reno? Alright, cool. Reno it is. Wait, you're Reno? Our brain is going crazy. Anyways, hello. So, I hate this bug. Look at that. Scroll past and it's fine. So this turned out pretty cool. I think the area where where it's showing the weakest currently is the way the trees have been done. You can really, like, when you visualize it, you can really understand and see what's happening with the cards. Like, you can see that there's a card, you know what I mean? Like, where the leaves are at, it's very solid, and then the outside becomes really soft. Is there a reference in here? Yeah, you can really see it in here as well. In order, like, what usually happens in order for this to happen, especially when it's your first scene, or when you're very new to, like, building foliage, is you have all of your leaves really close together because you're trying to make the tree really dense, right? You're trying to make it look like it's full of leaves. The reality is what you should actually do is take one of those cards and in the texture, make it even more spread out than this. Like, get those leaves really separated from each other. So there's alpha between them, because as you get further away, it'll nip down. So it quarters in resolution as you get further. And that also lowers the resolution of the alpha, which, like, narrows those gaps between the leaves. And then they just kind of meld together. Now, that said, I would say you take that card, you get you get all your leaves kind of scattered throughout it. It can get denser in the core. But really, like, take, like, how open it is here would be almost, like, this far in, and even more open out here. And I think you'll notice that it allows you to get your tree to look more volumetric. Yeah, use the Substance Designer tile sampler to scatter. That could be a little bit of the reason it feels kind of funny as well, is because the orientation of the leaves is very random. It can work, I think, but it's really about making sure that there's space between the leaves so that you get that alpha between all of them. Because you can see it here, it's starting to work. The next advice I would give when it comes to this type of approach is making sure that you don't give us too harsh of an angle on the cards that you're putting in the tree. So that you should never be able to get an angle on it where it's, like, dead on. And if it is dead on, then you need to have another card to, like, help hide it. So it's just a matter of massaging the way that those cards are all positioned, just to kind of volumize the tree. And if you follow that advice, I would say you probably have to triple or quadruple your card count in here, which is fine. It's fine. You're trying to get that voluminous look. It does look like you volumized your normals as well on the tree, so that'll help a lot with getting the light to look like it's wrapping around, right? It just doesn't look like there's enough in there to really do it. What would the other thing be that I could say on that? The texture is very flat, right? It's just like, it looks like it's a single color. I think it is. Maybe a little bit not. But getting some, like, variation in the greens on those leaves is really going to kind of add to the noise inside the core. So then when, like, it is, I would turn that up a little bit more, the range between the colors. Because then you can really get the core to kind of melt together. And then, it's magic. It would look really cool to push those just a little bit further. If you need to be done with the scene, though, stop, move forward. Take that as a learning experience and keep moving on. If you want to try and improve it, I think it's only the trees that you should focus on. The building, for sure, is like, I don't know how you've textured it. But I like what's going on at the bottom of the building with the color. And I think getting some of that information wherever surfaces meet, that you understand like what's happening as it goes from like roof tile to wall, and like how those intersect and how they interact with each other. It's really important for getting all of those materials to feel like they're actually in the same space. But really cool and really nice for our first stylized scene as well. All right, I think the next one up is Shokri. Just drag this over here. Let me take a look at this. So this has come a long way, man. It says, I'm working on this project for way too long, but I think I will need to rework the main box. The frame on the front had bad normals, and I can't fix with baking for whatever reason. But yeah, I think it's getting there. I actually don't know what you're talking about, because when I look at it, I don't see an issue. You might be in the spiral that we usually refer to as like endless iteration. Let me see if we can't, because it looks fine to me. There's some maybe material polish work that could happen. But I think with some propping around it and just a little diorama, you could call it done. And just move on. That way you can take what you've learned here and move forward. I would be curious about the error you're talking about, the normal error. Just to see it, to understand what's happening. Do you have any renders of that? I mean, maybe it's this. Oh no, these are just your references. One thing I know that you've done is really kind of like going in a different direction when it comes to the look and feel. Yours is a bit wider as well. I think I would just focus on your materials and get your materials in line. Because, like, for example, the red up here and the blue up here, those are way outside of PBR range. They just feel really saturated. Getting all of those tuned in a good lighting angle could be really good. Yeah, endless iteration's rough because you can kind of get stuck in, like, wanting to make it better and better. People of the fire. How you doing, Spag? Zonk, man. All well and swell over here. Little cough. And we'll go away. I don't know if you can hear my voice. But, yeah. Shokri, I'm curious about this image. Oh, did you... Let's see here. Coming. Yeah, it's no rush. We can go to the next one and then we can come back to it as well. So don't stress about it. Right. So the next one is this one. This one's from J3. Working on an abandoned sewer scene. I wanted to say sewer system. Sewer scene. I'm aware of UV errors, but forgot this was today. Still very much a whip. So before I critique this, I'd be curious. What would be the best way to remind you that the stream is happening? I'm curious about these things. Tish, what's up, man? Good to see you. Add uranium. Nice. Why don't you have Did that work? There we go. You're a mod and a VIP. Soldier, I think that would work out. Me being more active. Oh, okay, okay. But let's take a look at this. So, a lot of your surfaces are wet, which I guess makes sense for a sewer scene, right? Sent on Discord, no hurry. All right, cool. Cool. So when we look at this this environment, I would say the roughness value is very like I don't know where to place it. So the roughness is very shiny. I'd be curious to see what your roughness values are at, just so that we can understand what your surfaces are reading like. So it's an abandoned sewer, but the power is still working, and there's like rocks down here. I guess it's supposed to be really old, right? So, understanding where things are breaking down. Let's see where so first of all, I would say it's the materials. Speaking of the roughness value, Soldier, I don't know how relevant that is, although it is quite sad. But I am analyzing the pixels. It's true. So this type of normal information that's going on here, and the scale of your textures, there's like a little bit of a seam here as well. There's a lot of things that I'm seeing that just like call out to like, for example, like the rubble I was talking about. Like where did that come from? Is it from the ceiling? Is there a bit of a collapse that's happened? Maybe this should be like opened up, and then that could explain why some stuff has come in here, and it just localizes like where all the rocks have fallen. Everything's very wet, but the pipes are quite dry up here. I guess because you're simulating that kind of rusty look, right? Yeah, the normal maps are quite strong as well. I think the detail normal that you have going on top of the bricks is very strong, and looks a little low res as well. If that's tiling on top of the brick or the stonework, then we just kind of lower that down strength wise and maybe tile it a bit more. There's something here that I'm not sure about. I don't know what that is. But just localizing everything around your lighting, like where your lights are at, I think could really help. I love these pipes that are coming out of the wall. But yeah, it's I think there's enough in here, and it's about tuning your materials. There's some edges that are a little sharp. Looking at those as well. It's tuning your materials and your lighting. Because remember, when surfaces are wet, they're also going to become wet in different ways. So their roughness value is going to be quite a bit different, depending on what they're made out of. So like a really porous rock is going to absorb more water, so it'll become more saturated and darker. But then it would also not display its kind of spec as much as something that's like marble that doesn't really absorb any water. The porosity is very low. Yeah, if this edge is sharp, you could have like geometry. If I get a blender going here, you could have geometry floating on the edge there to help with that transition. I'll just get this. Man, my blender takes forever to load, and I think it's because I have too many add-ons just sitting there. All recent. There we go. I'm slowly starting to make this space that's like a playroom of things. You've been struggling with the seams? So the best way to get rid of seams is to hide them. Don't let us see them. Like, for example, if you need a pillar, you've got this edge, right? Let me just clean this up really fast. So you've got this pillar, right? If there's a seam here, only show this side. Don't show the seam side. If there is a seam and you can't really hide it, you can do some interesting things when it comes to like UV space. So like we go here. So imagine this is your tileable texture for the brick material. It tiles in every direction, right? And the repeat of tiling starts here, like on the edge. But imagine if you put a repeat in here as well. That's identical to these. Then you could actually UV this, and around the time that the UVs hit this spot, they would mirror or line up with anything else that runs into these edges. Because if the UV's in there, right? So, like, just to give it as an example, let's do it like this. Just grab those, and I'll just unwrap that really fast. So, let's just, without having to scale UVs and whatnot. Oh, whoops. There we go. So if we're just looking at, bro, come on. If we're just looking at these, there we go. If you had the seam tiling here, as well as here and here, these edges would now line up. You know what I'm saying? Won't that start repeating halfway point then? Only here. Like, you don't have to duplicate. It will end up repeating if you see it quickly enough. But we're talking about a pillar, right? Versus like a length of a wall. This is a good way to like have a tileable texture that's reusable on a smaller asset basis, not necessarily like an entire length of a wall. So this is literally the texture. Like whatever is here is also here and here. So it's repeating itself. It's kind of hard to explain, but the other thing I was gonna say was if you bring this over, if we look at this edge, what you can do, you can probably find a script for this, but if I just dupe those off and split it and then select this, these two faces on a new mesh, bevel this, but bevel it with the, I need my camera gone, bevel it with the, where are you at here? Is it shape? I think I need to turn it up one more. Yes, so shape. If the shape is at 100 or 1.0, now you get this. And if I accept that, let's delete those faces. Now we have this mesh, this thing here. And what's really nice about that is if you take that, and what is the... I always forget how to offset these if you want to push them outwards. But if you push this out, so it's just floating just a little bit outside, you can then smooth this. You can clear the sharp on that, make sure that it's smooth. Now you've got a rounded corner. Alt S, thank you, Poodlestein. So Alt S is like this. It lets you do this type of thing. And with the amount that we're doing, it's not too big of a deal on the skewing. But this works wonders, because like if we hide the outline and we hide the and we make it one color, now it looks like a bevel, and you didn't even have to bake that. You could put a weighted normal on there and tighten it up even further. Oh yeah, we need to have auto smooth on this. You can tighten it up even further, or you can make it wider. But yeah, it looks like a bevel. And then you can put like a trim sheet of a damaged edge, and that normal can be a mesh decal on top of the pillar. That does a lot for this type of stuff. But yeah, I feel like I've maybe gone a little deep into that, but it's worth talking about. But yeah, I would figure out what you want us to be focusing on. I think if you made these lights all out and then you had one of them flicker every once in a while, that would be way more interesting. And rely on the lighting coming from the drain. I guess there's a drain above that we don't see, and that's where this is coming from. I think working with one or two here and not trying to have to explain this one would be beneficial. And then you turn off all the lights, let this one come in, do all the bounce lighting for you, and then you do a little bit of a flicker with this every once in a while. You gotta add a little bit more like atmosphere and kind of scariness to it, some creepiness. And whenever you add details like these chains, make sure that they're attached to things and help make sense of like why the chain is there, not so much the reason for like just having the chain for the theming. Always have a reason for everything. It just leads to a better scene in general. But yes, super cool though. I'm liking it. All right, next up. Let's see, I can't group this, can I? There we go. Let's get in here. Okay. This is looking cool. Oh man, this coughing. Torches could make a little bit more sense if you wanted to keep them on. But this one, man, this scene's coming together. Working on this Victorian scene for 2 months now. It's about time to say it's done. I would love to get some feedback on lighting, compositing. Thank you. So, I would go online and I would find some cars or vehicles or like carriages, something to populate the street with. It doesn't have to mess with your framing, but I think it would do a whole lot. I feel like there's things missing, but I don't know enough about Victorian scenes to really help you. I'm just gonna Google Victorian era streets. Let's go. Man, this is really interesting. Let me just drag this out here. So like this type of stuff. So there's a lot of like overhangs around certain areas. There's a lot of street lights, it looks like. I don't know how accurate this is. This is horses and carriages in the Victorian era. This is late Victorian London. So, oh, I just dragged that in there. Let's do that. So when we look at, actually, maybe we can, let's go. So we look at these scenes. What we're really looking for is getting that look and feel, that density. See, like you can see the tiling in the road. You're doing a pretty good job of breaking it up, but I think getting some carriages in there would really do a lot. You don't need to have horses unless you can find some. But really blending them into the scene and just populating the scene with a lot of like stuff. Doesn't have to be people. Like I'd find out what's going on here. My brain is like, is that a guy that shines shoes? But I have no idea, honestly. But I think stuff like that. You can see how the road is lighter, at least in this photo. It's lighter in the middle, so it's maybe a bit more like chalked, a bit drier. And on the sides, it's more wet, dirty. It's got the griminess. And when you look at your images, we're getting there. I think maybe because it's really wet, it doesn't have that same effect. But I think if you were to get rid of some of the reflectiveness from the wetness in the middle and just let it be damp, it'll allow you to lighten the value of the albedo there a little bit more and give you a little bit more of a composition to the way the road is kind of affected by the rain. Overall, though, man, this scene's cool. It feels a bit clean. Like, I don't know how you've set this up, if these are like modules, but I would look at seeing if you could get some like a grime mask for each of your wall modules and just kind of get like an overall kind of pass on everything. I would also look at using a world space gradient, so where the base of the building and the top of the building are different in value and saturation. So like as you go from the bottom of the building to the top, it goes from like richer color and darker to like sun bleached, older, dustier rooftop area. Does that make sense? I think a combination of that gradient and like a kind of dirty mask, doesn't have to be really dirty, but just the showing the interactions between all the little elements, that'll do a ton. Combine that with like the carriages and stuff, you're gonna be, oh yeah, there's some world space dirt. Maybe it needs to increase the intensity. Oh, is it this? It feels low res. I wonder if I would play with it a little bit more. Let's just see what you can do with it. And yeah, don't hesitate to add all this propping everywhere, like in front of this shop, or maybe seats, or just, you know, overhang. Like there's not a lot going on over here. Just getting some more overhangs to kind of push this look would go a long way. Would go a really long way. So it's just kind of filling up the scene, getting it dense with stuff. And maybe add a gap somewhere between the buildings and let some like smoke or fog or something get in there, just so you get some more depth and volume. Don't hesitate to take some of the buildings, bring some forward or back, just to get some irregularity. It'll do a lot. But really nice. Really, really cool to see. I'd be curious to see how you've set this all up. Let's do this. Let me see if I can navigate the all this. Their blueprints. Oh, dude, that's super cool. Okay. Neaton. Hey, you're an associate environment artist at FIFA EA. Let's get you that that yellow tag. There we go. Okay. Let's take a look at your scene here. Actually, what I'm gonna do, we're just gonna drag it in here because I can manipulate things a little bit better. I take it this is the reference here. There's a render concept. Detail lighting, all right. And some prop breakdowns. Okay, we can look at let me do this here. We can look at the prop breakdowns in here. But for now, let's jump into this. So here's the concept. So we have a lot of renders going on. I don't know if you need a detail lighting render. And I don't know if you need this image or this one. You could basically put it down to like, this is your main shot. Although I don't know what to focus on in this. And this is I feel like this is your main shot. Because we're like, oh, okay, the TV, a little chair there. And then we have your support images, which are these ones here. I just started a few months back. Well, congratulations. That is super exciting. Cool. Okay. Actually, now I want to bring your detail lighting back. Why? Main reason being that it shows a lot when it comes to the brightness of things, when it comes to your albedo. So when we look at your detail lighting pass, there's some colors going on in here, which I find really interesting. I guess maybe it's the color of the lights. First of all, with the lights, I would put an IES profile on there just so that you get a little bit more of a predictable kind of fall off and pattern of like refractions that happen when the light comes through the actual bulb glass itself. It's a IES profiles. Super handy. Will level up your lighting very easily. The next thing I would say is this cone is huge. If it's coming from this, then this thing is not casting shadow and it's like really, really wide. So getting that to be a little bit more focused. And then tuning like how bright your lights are. Like this one seems pretty accurate. Maybe a little warm. And I don't know what's causing the blue light, but I do like the contrast of the two colors. Gotta get that blue-orange action, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but when we look at the scene with textures, that's when it becomes very clear that the value and maybe even the saturation of the textures seems very dark and very saturated. Maybe the saturation is fine and it's just the value being too dark. That, I think, is where materials come in, but we're going to come back to that here in a second. Looking at this whole environment, I would watch out for being too clean. I think it can work here with this style. Maybe you need a rug or something. And yeah, I think right now what's affecting you the most is your lighting and your materials. Everything else seems to be pretty okay. Is that a what is that? Is it a newspaper, but it's really thick, or is it like a magazine? Anyways, it's really thick, so it feels strange. Like it feels more like a piece, like a ornament for the table, than an actual piece of paper or like a newspaper. So looking at those things, let's yeah, a nice rug will definitely tie the room together. It was a magazine, is what I thought, but yeah, it looks a little thick. I mean, a magazine can work. It is probably a little thick as well, but we don't know. Like magazines have that seam, right? Where's the fold that helps us understand how it's constructed, right? So if we now bring this over and we look at your assets, now I'm looking at the materials here and they're actually not as dark as I was expecting them to be. So it might be just your lighting. Because when we do lighting only, it is pretty dark in here. Is this baked lighting? Or is this real-time lighting? Because I think it feels baked to me. Anyways, I'll give you a minute to respond. Oh yeah, after this I need to look at Shokri's thing. But yeah, it might be the sRGB instead of ACES, so it looks brighter. Yeah, you should always, when you're texturing in Substance Painter, you should have ACES on as like a color grade, because it'll really help with like matching your work between Substance Painter and Unreal. The thing I wanted to mention here is the textures. Like this pattern happening here means that these are all like a continuous piece of wood, which is very strange to me, right? So thinking about like how these are UV'd and where the wood grain is positioned, think about it like it's parts. And if those are parts, then the pieces of wood would be split here, right? Like if I grab this and bring it in here, like there should be, like how this is built, There should be a seam here in the wood, and you can lean into that for like really showing the difference. And then the wood grain you would expect to be going this way, right? And the wood grain going this way, and this one going this direction. And then with these should be separate wood pieces. And so even if you are doing the grain in this direction, there should be like a clear separation between like this should not continue here. Maybe it'll be down here. Maybe this would be here. Just offsetting those would be really good. Because you need to think about how stuff is constructed or built, because that's how you get that believability that kind of taps into that like suspension of disbelief, and then you just start to like really tap into like, oh wow, this looks really, it looks real, right? But let's see here. Yeah, really understanding how they're put together. Because overall they look pretty cool. Like this is good because these pieces slide. Those are like not lining up. That's cool. Oh yeah, these look nice. Modeling wise, it's a bit up there on the poly count. Like I don't know how much you need of that, but that might not have been the goal. All I know is it says real time, and this is a bit expensive, or not expensive, but like you're using more than you need to achieve something close enough to get that look. You know what I mean? Like this edge in here, like that could use a bevel. Not maybe these could use one bevel, not like three or four. And then you can put another bevel here in order to get that kind of crease in there. Because right now the way the lighting, like because this is soft, this just wraps, and the normal is just facing outwards like this. Yeah, I'll say this in the most caring voice as possible, but this is extremely wasteful when it comes to like how you're using your geometry. Like you could probably make this like a tenth of the cost just by cleaning up the geo, and it would have no visual difference on the rest of the asset. Ooh, I like this breakdown here. Oh, see, now these are being displayed in Unreal, aren't they? You see how dark they are? Like if we bring this over, we'll go up here. Like look at the difference in these. This is definitely too dark and too well, maybe saturation is okay. Yes, it's worth checking out. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Pretty cool scene. It's just really thinking about like your lighting, how your materials are reading. Don't forget detail normals if you haven't put any on there. You have a question. I tried to match the lighting as per the concept. Do you think I should change that? Oh, that's a good question. Let's see here. Ah, I see. I mean, so if we're matching the concept, these should be darker because the lighting's making them darker, right? Not because the Oh, that is so weird. What is that light coming from? I mean, I think to some degree, yes, but being able to visualize your space and like, what the heck is that thing? And like your understanding of the what? There's like a reflection. What is going on there? It's like a guy looking at us. You see that? Um. Oh my god, that material too. Yeah, there's a lot that I can see what you were doing now, but it's just too weird. So it ends up looking like a bug. Like what I would do is match the feeling of the scene. That guy looks familiar. Why? Because of the resolution of his face? He kind of looks like low res Max Payne. If I'm going to be honest. But I think it's more about, I would avoid going one to one with a concept and go more about the capturing the feeling and the mood. Kind of does. Kind of looks like Bezos, doesn't it? But that can't be. He's in the moon. He's on the moon. Um, yeah, there's some really sharp angles too that are happening on these. Like this is more like pointy. Anyways, I see what you're trying to do, but I would usually err more on the side of like build it to look really good while capturing the feeling versus getting it to be exactly like the concept. Pretty cool scene though. Also, are you getting a lens distortion? What's going on here? Hang on. It might be an optical illusion. Yeah, it's just an illusion. It's because of this. Afternoon, how you doing? Anyways, really cool. Focus on your lighting and materials. And you did a pretty good job matching the concept. I kind of want to see the lights now, too. Huh. This light's on, sir. You've broken the illusion. Make it your own now. Pretty cool, though. Pretty cool. Okay. Shokri. So the error you were talking about. I'm like trying to understand this. Where is that? Is that on the back? So to me, there's that line there in the normal. This line here. It's so, I don't know. I don't see any of that. I think you're pretty much done. It's just a matter of like tuning your albedos, maybe a little bit of roughness variation on this material so it doesn't blow out like that. You don't want to have blowout and you're good. You might be being too critical. So we actually only have one more to look at, if you can believe it. If you guys want to have your stuff critiqued, it's C from XYZ Discord. Forgot my name was vid. Ah, what's up, man? Okay, so we've got this and the concept. So this is quite interesting. Actually, hang on. I want to know where this is going in here. No. Oh yeah, this is quite intriguing. So, first of all, that looks pretty cool. If I have to say. Get this one on here. You guys can see my pen, right? So when we, oh nice, of course. So your scene looks pretty, this is pretty nice. And I think the way that you're doing your foliage looks pretty cool as well. Are those cards or actually volume? So I think turning up your atmosphere, it's all cards? Okay. I think turning up your atmosphere would really, I mean, maybe it's not necessarily your atmosphere, but you need some secondary lighting. Like if we go in and, I mean, it's gonna be hard to do with this ray of light here, but you could see these shapes here. You really want to like be able to select those and push them up. Do this here. I don't know if it's gonna be able to do this. Let's see. Kinda. Pretty good. But yeah, getting those elements to pop out would really help. So if we take these and let's just like, yeah, see, they're really washed because of the way that the lighting is done, which is nothing wrong with that, right? Maybe we can fake it, turning the saturation up a little bit. And then let's just put a mask on there. Invert that. So what we're looking to get is more of these shapes like popping out, right? And I wonder if I can. Not bad. You see what I'm saying though? It's getting these to pop out. You get that layering in, and you'll get closer to the concept. You can see how like it becomes like this is almost like a color steady. You can see how back here you get this color. Way back here is more like dark. But there's layering. It doesn't like get darker as it goes back. It's just different ranges of color. And up here, you're getting more of these like these hits of color. You're just, is this black? Yeah, cool. So you can see you've got these splotches of color that you can work with. And getting that in the, oh man, my eyeballs! Getting that to come through in your scene. You see how much bluer it is back there? We do this. Wait, I'm grabbing the wrong. No! There we go. Is there any way to keep the recording of my critique? It will go on YouTube at some point. Maybe this weekend. And then it gets linked in the Discord. So there's that, if that helps. Until then, it will be on YouTube or on Twitch until 30 days from now in the VODs. Samo, dude, what is up? Thank you for the sub. How you doing? So yeah, we're just looking through this concept, trying to understand elements that can get us closer to this. You can see as well, it's actually a little bit washed out. Let me see if I can dupe this, and let's put a mask on. And let's just like cut this like this. So we can see the colors here. Because what you could do is wash it out a little bit, you know? Maybe pull some of the blacks out of there, the black pixels or the darker values. And then it's like pushing it towards more of a cooler color. I think right now you're going quite warm. So if we were to go to like camera raw filter, this would be a good way to check if your temperature just needs to be a little shifted. So if I just move this to the side like this, let's see if we can preview the temperature. Oh, we can't preview it. Oh my god. Okay, I'm just gonna lower the temp a little bit, and then maybe, where are we at here? Maybe the saturation down a little bit. Get a little closer. There's some warmth in there as well. But you can see, like, if we disable this mask, we go between the two, you definitely get closer. But of course, by the way I'm doing it, it's washing it out. And I think what you want to be doing is doing that in your lighting and in the color of your textures to try and like capture the color palette that you're seeing in the concept. So it's really cool though. There's some elements where I'm like, oh, that'd be cool if it was like here. You can see when we turn the layer off, there's that lip on the top edge. So this is actually almost around that gold element. Man, this is cool. I really like this scene. Really capturing the gold here. I don't know if that's gold in your material. Or maybe the roughness is too... Hang on. You can see the highlight, how big the highlight is. So your highlight in the concept is maybe about that big. Let's do this. The highlight's maybe about that large. And even here, it's about that big. And if you bring this on, your highlight's about that big. So like, it's just expanding your, like, making your roughness more rough on the gold to kind of like diffuse the lighting around the surface. That'll help a lot when trying to capture this type of material. I don't know how you're texturing things, but if you're doing a lot of hand painting and the tops of these are like unique, I would give the tops of the steps a little bit of a value dusting, like a little bit lighter, a little bit dustier, or something to like separate the tops from the sides. Get a little bit of like a warm value in there, which actually I don't see too much of in the concept. Maybe even like painting a black seam in there would get closer to the feeling. When it comes to the rocks, there's some nice little like under areas here. That could be interesting to get in there. Or like taking the cards of the foliage and making some smaller ones and really like kind of connecting and bridging the gap between these details could be really nice. Yeah, man, I love these types of shapes. So doing that to your work could be pretty nice. See if you got green on here. I don't know if that even does that on the. Yeah, there's a pretty clear separation. Oh, there's a little green there. Yeah, a tiny bit of outline could work pretty well. Though I'd be very careful with that. That's really cool. Also, I think that your FOV is actually too high. Because like when I go to the concept, you can see it's almost flat topped up here. I guess maybe the camera's a little bit higher. No, the camera's not all that much higher. I think just lowering your FOV will flatten out the perspective a little bit, and you'll get closer to your concept. That will mess with your composition. Oh yeah, this is also really good to highlight. You can see the side of the tree, the colors that are there, and the colors that are in yours. Yours are hitting more black pixel, which means we probably need to get like a ambient color going on in your scene in order to kind of bring in this kind of cooler tones. That might be enough to kind of bring everything into that cooler value. Pretty sick though. Really cool scene. Awesome. Oh no, we got more stuff to look at now. Let's hopefully that was helpful. Yeah, no problems, Andy. Yo, look at that. Look at those chips. That roughness on that looks really good. Any feedback on the materials? Quick little scene I did for material work. Still fixing a few things, such as lighting and baking. Would love some feedback. So these look pretty good. I did not realize that that was a handle. I don't know why, but the material here looks good. The way the lighting's behaving around it. Here it's getting a little like I'm not sure like the environment that it's reflecting. I would just get it into an environment like a HDRI around the entire scene. The chips look really good. The cards look good. I mean, they even have that white edge that you get from the print cut. Really cool. There's a seam here, which feels a little strange. Just this guy here. This edge looks pretty good. I don't know if you need to do any more damage than that. I don't know what that material is. Is it like a fake wood? Man, those are actually chips that are stacked, aren't they? I would render this higher res and then downsample it It's kind of like fake glued on wood. I'd be careful about all these edges getting this bit of haloing, this like lighter edge stuff here. You see it all the way around. There's another seam right here. Just make sure when you're exporting, you're getting padding. At least it looks like a seam. I'm wondering why this doesn't feel right to me. Do you have reference anywhere? The thing that sticks out to me the most is the table material. It doesn't feel nearly felt enough, and is maybe even a little dirty. Like I wouldn't have it that dirty, and just like concentrate on getting the material to feel like that felt type surface that you're used to, you know? Because right now it doesn't have that. It needs a it needs a fuzziness feel. Looks pretty sick though. Okay, I believe it's still in just a studio lighting. Yeah, this looks like studio lighting because like that's like that single light source. Hello, Maru. But yeah, I don't have too much else to add on it. Maybe the roughness of this. Man, there's some damage going on there. That's kind of cool looking. I would be curious to see what the roughness value is of this. Like it feels like it should be reflecting a little bit more. This is also extremely low poly. I would like triple or quadruple that. Especially if this is so round, there's no reason for that to be so like angular. And another seam. I mean, it could be the little damage stuff that's going on. Paint out most of that, or like start with a mask that removes it all, and then paint it back, as it goes. You posted a reference in. Okay, let's see here. Oh yeah. Okay. So I would try and match the wood material. Definitely is not accurate right now. And I would get the man. That's really interesting. I mean, the seams might be prevalent because you're doing this like damage pass on the edge, and it's probably hitting everywhere that there's a seam. So you just have to do that damage pass, and then put a mask on top of it, and then paint it in only where you want it. But there is some like lines, and then this is rounded. Is this getting this more rounded would be good? And then really emphasizing these lines by showing the wood grain more. Right now it feels like plastic, whereas this feels much more like a wood, even though it may not be. You can see there's a little gap under here as well. Getting that gap under yours, I love the detail that's happening there. It's just make sure there's a gap under there, and that'll really help sell that look. What is this, dice or cards? It's probably a card deck. Could probably put a little box in there. Yeah. Let me see here. Pack of cards, yeah. Yeah, I think getting a lighting that's closer to this will actually make it freakishly real. Man. Like, it's quite interesting. Look what this does. Kind of want to lower this even more. Maybe like 6. Getting that discoloring, that could be pretty cool. Hmm. But you can see how different it is, and it might just be because of the lighting. Really cool. It's a cool. It's an interesting asset to be doing like a material study on. These look good as well. Yeah, dude, I really see that aliasing. Definitely render it like a 4K and then bring it down to like a 2K. No temporal anti-aliasing on there either. Delicious, delicious materials. You see how much it helps me feedback when we have a reference as well. Demothenes, yo, what is good? Get that community tag. Let's check out this ice material you got going on here. Oh, you guys blind yet? Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Hey, no problem. No problem, Jesse. Or ripped bread. That's a sad story. Ripped bread is never a nice thing unless you're ripping it with your own bite. And then it's much better. So, I think with these types of materials, these are interesting material. So I like what you've done given the constraints of just being in like let me see here. Being in blah designer. Ice material I've been working on. Need to revisit my subsurface scattering map. Tone down the scratches. Also currently I'm trying to learn how to create a shader in Unreal to see how it would look with parallax and subsurface scatter. So a lot of this work that you're doing here, like this kind of dusting, I would leave that to the shader, and the parallaxing of the scratches and the depth, and seeing how that looks, definitely shader work. Because you can only take this so far just in Designer. Given that, you can see how like even the snow distribution is in these crevices. I would try and introduce in your mask a type of wind blowing look. So like you can see where it's protected and where the snow's protected and where it kind of gets blown away. And really like utilize masks when it comes to blending between these materials, because the snow that you've got built up in there, that could be a mask which allows you to tile your snow inside of, and like all of this information, it really benefits to have ice that's smoother in some areas like you have going on here, just so that when you have high frequency you have areas of rest that become easy to look at or easy on the eyes. But you really have this nice kind of understanding of the depth of like that deep blue frozen look. You can tell you're looking at a lot of references. I'd be curious to see what these types of fractures look like as well. Because these are they're pretty wobbly. I don't know how this type of stuff fractures. And wherever you have these like little crevices, they're very dark right now, whereas I guess I would expect them to be even more lit. It's kind of like when you have glass, cut glass that's got that green edge to it. It tends to be brighter on the edges. And when you shine light through it, the edges light up. I would expect like the refraction or the faking of refraction of light in the shader would make these bright with a little bit of a gradient as they go down. But yeah, man, super cool. I want to see parallax on this because I expect these cracks you would see go down through the shader. It's probably just a sampling of those pixels and getting that kind of crack pattern to go all the way down. But yeah, cool. Super cool. Okay. That was the last one. It's 9:30. We got 30 more minutes. You know, I'm wondering, is there any tangents? A few above got skipped. Are you serious? Ollie, what's up, man? Did I miss some? Hang on here. Ollie, you critique the ice? Nice, man. Oh, I see some. You're right. I missed two. Space Wizard. Let's go. And Thomas, you posted some stuff too. Awesome. Yo, I'm already down. I like this. So this looks pretty cool. Currently working through Learning Designer, so been trying to put a diorama together. Man, that's so sick. The fact that you're Learning Designer and using it to build a scene. Oh, this is great. Because not only are you building a material, but you're trying to build it in a way that works for what you're building. You know what I mean? So you're building it in context of your needs, not just a material. Would greatly appreciate any general advice and feedback on materials or things to look out for. Okay, so yeah, this is very BioShock, which I love. So as you continue to texture, man, I love this. I would let's see here. So you see you've got this piece, this big round piece that's coming through. Let's see if I can just like gonna bring it in here. Okay. I'm just gonna not die. Just gonna bring this up really quick and just try and like fake this. Maybe we'll do like halfway like this. Um, nice. And then you got your little top thing here. Do something like that for now. Anyways, okay, so you've got this shape, right? And then you've got this like round thing here. Let's brain. It's like, no, you were supposed to be nice and centered here. To select it, there we go. Okay. So this is fine that I'm sitting here modeling this, right, guys? This is okay. Because what I want to say is like the way that these two shapes connect to each other. It's really important that the way they meet the surface right here is like feels connected. So I'm just gonna like do this. I'll just put a bevel there. But the connection I'm talking about, I'm gonna just dupe this so I can save it. Is is getting a little edge here. And it doesn't have to be crazy. But I think you know what I mean. There you go. Because if you get some type of connection here, it becomes much easier to understand how things are connecting. And then from there, this is like too thin for sure as well. But I think you know what I mean. Go further out. No. Like, why? But yeah, anyways, getting those to make sure that they look connected, really important. Because it helps you, like, understand how things are put together. Yeah, it makes things feel less floaty as well, for sure. The other thing I was going to say is, like, you got these broken tile pieces here, right? Is this supposed to be filled with water? Because there's some type of noise going on the surface. I guess it's your material you're working on here. There's water in there. Okay, so let's work on getting the water to pop a bit more, and really like getting that type of information to show up. Um, Especially with this light position, you're gonna see like the glimmer on the surface. Wherever you have tiles that are broken up like that, you just make sure that you've got gaps where the tiles are missing and whatnot. I think that'll help a lot. And I think if you're practicing making materials, I would see if you can make a detail splatter wetness material, which is basically like fake droplets of water that you can put as a normal map and a roughness on top of any of your materials. Because then you can really make it look like stuff got splashed on or is wet. I think that'd be really cool. But I love this scene. I think this is a cool little diorama. It's a weird little edge here. Add more geometry here as well. We don't need to like count the edges. It'll help. Um, Last thing I guess I would say is maybe either this needs to be taller or like it needs to be grounded on something. Just a surface. It could even be like just out on like a really dark surface, just so it's grounded and not floating in nothingness. Because you need a gradient in the background or something. Um, that'll help. Let's go. So you can see it's floating out in nowhere land right now. No, cool. Oh, it's trying so hard. You got this, Shadows. See, it's like almost black there. It doesn't know what to grab onto. Some type of presentation. I'm like, what am I doing here? Something like that could be nice. Get your drop shadow in there. If it's gonna float, float with elegance. Super cool. And don't forget your bloom. Of course. What's the other thing I was gonna do? We got like, where's our actions? Oh, there we go. Let's select that layer. Nope. Let's take this one. We'll dupe it. We'll kill the shadows on it, and then I'll just run this script. Where is it at? Post bloom. Boop. There we go. And then from there, we can just paint where we want our bloom. And then you just take this layer and really like tone it down. Nice. Really, Ollie? That's so funny. If it's gonna float, float with elegance. I have a video all about presentation and just like this type of editing on a material ball. Definitely check that one out. It's quite short as well. But yeah, okay, we got one more. Thomas, dude. Hey, Space Wizard, no problem, man. This looks freaking cool. I would say we need to know what the focus is, but I love the amount of like props and details that you're building on. Is the focus on this? Is this a typewriter? What is this going to be? What is this thing? I'll wait for your response. It's gonna be a typewriter. Slowly started working on that one. Okay, cool. What do you want us to be focusing on when it comes to this scene? Because right now I feel like this shot's strong, and this one you don't need that one. I feel like this is the view, right? If this is the view, which I hope it is, because there's something intriguing about this shot. This should be in focus, and the background should be out of focus. Right now, it's quite blurry, which I think is just because of the focus that you decided on. But let's just scale this in here. What the heck is going on? Bro. There we go. We'll go with that. Oh, come on. I feel like I should invert this. I mean, that's a bit strong. You know, it's really interesting. All bound to change and tweak at this point. Okay. I think this view is really intriguing. I think if the fireplace tones down a little bit, that could help. The thing I was gonna say is if you do renders right out of Unreal, you can get a render of the depth buffer pass, but it's basically like a depth pass where the things closest to the camera are white and the things furthest from the camera are black. You can use that as a mask on a Gaussian blur. Or if you go into like DaVinci's Resolve, you can use that mask to help you control like a really good looking like anamorphic lens, so you can blur in post instead of through Unreal. You can get some really nice results. The other thing I was gonna say, like if you were gonna do it in here, you can create this, turn this into a smart object, and then if you do your Gaussian blur and you hit OK, it's not destructive. It sits here. So the mask I mentioned is a depth buffer. Depth buffer. Let me see if I can find a good like. Oh yeah, this is okay. I think I found a good image. So this, kill that, and then do this. Delete. Okay, so this is a grayscale image, right? This is a depth buffer. So you can see all the little nuances. This is kind of creepy as well, I'm not gonna lie. But you could use a depth buffer as a way to control your mask, right? So like for example, let's see if I can do this. So if you have this image, let me see if I can just group it, and then, man, I haven't done this in here in a long while. So if you Gaussian blur, you can see that there's a mask here. So what you can do, I think if I select that and paste, no. Add filter mask to selection. Filter mask options, no. Oh, there we go. Okay. You can kind of see him, right? Now the cool thing is if you run levels on that, you can move around where the depth of field happens. Do you see this? It's a ghost. I love it. Because you could do like a kind of like a histogram scan, and you can shift that forward and backwards in your 2.5D space, right? Then you're playing with like, it's cool, man. Some of the stuff that happens in film these days is insane. Like you're like, oh, we need a light back here. They can actually do that now after they filmed, and they can properly like place the lighting against the surfaces. They can light a character afterwards. If they're missing something, they need rim lighting, they can add rim lighting. But it's this ghost guy. You invert it, then we're looking at, whatever is white becomes like full focus, and then whatever is not white becomes the strength of the blur. So full black would be 100% of whatever's happening in this Gaussian pass. It's really powerful. Anyways, that's super fun stuff, man. Okay, it's 9:51. We're kind of like we're good to go, I think. Do you guys have any questions or anything you want me to kind of go over? We got like a few minutes. Can put a keyframe in a histogram, scan a DaVinci Resolve, and give a nice video render with a focus switch. Yes, yes, you can. Yeah, see, now you're getting it. There's some tricks there, man. Could you do like a histogram select to focus on a particular band of gray? You should be able to. Can you do that in here? Like if you... I'm wondering how that would work. Yeah, you're thinking a substance designer? Me too. Oh, you know what it would be? Oh my god, it would be this. You would have to, man, how would you even do that? I don't think you could do it to a mask, but what you would want to do is run a gradient on this, right? Gradient map. And then in the gradient, you would make this black as well. And then in the core, you'd make that white. And technically, you should be able to scan. Use another color. Yeah, because then you could shift this. See, now we're literally moving through the... So if that's the only thing you wanted in focus, right? That would work. Because then from there, you could grab this, go in here, and paste that. Of course, we're working with a really bad image, so... And then if you go back... Yeah, see, now it's only... I guess you could invert this too. But yeah, you can see it's only his head is like in focus and then it falls off. So if you have a really good render, that could be pretty... I mean, we got a few minutes. Let me see if I can... Is there a way to... I think in Unreal it would be Z depth pass. We're going. I'm going in. You guys can see the scene I'm working on too. I hate these things. Just go in the. Ah. If you work hard, you can do it. Abo. Okay. How would I do this? Maybe this is a good angle. So what we would need to create a camera. Test cam. We go to window. We would go to the movie render queue. We need to add render. We need a new sequence. Cool. Okay, now we got this view. We need to also add the camera here. High resolution screenshot option would work too. Yeah, but you wouldn't get the depth buffer. The reason we're using the movie render queue is because you need to go into this config, deferred rendering, additional post processing. For the material, add a scene depth world units. Oh, okay. No, I need to make a material. So I will paste this in chat. Oh, really? Poodle scene, really? Okay, hang on. So you're talking about here. High res screenshot. Oh, you're just saying literally just okay. So we capture that. And then you're saying it's not view, is it? Buffer view. View mode. What do you mean view mode? You mean here? View mode, right? And then buffer view and then custom depth. Scene depth. Scene depth. There we go. Oh yeah, this is really haha. Let's go. Okay. Photoshop. Just gonna open this. Open this. Okay, so now I have this. Oh, this is exciting. Yeah, so the further away it is, the more it becomes white. Right, so if we add a Gaussian blur, let's dupe this, convert to smart object, Gaussian blur, open this up, go to this, paste this in there. Is it lined up? It is, okay. So I should be able to just go into this. Oh, it's not necessarily working right now. But I guess it's because of the range. Yeah, something like that. Ooh, it's working. Man, that's crazy. Yeah, probably blur the mask a little bit. So I need to find a way to remap the mask though, which I don't think you can do. But like for example, if you took this and inverted it and then did a levels. That kind of works. It's not really doing enough though, you know? I think if it was a proper clean render, it would work. It's kind of doing it though, which is really cool. Anyways, it worked in Designer too. Yeah? Nice. I think the cool part is being able to scan with it, you know? Like full white would be in focus. Or full white would be blur, and then black is in focus. Oh yeah, now you're seeing it. Oh, that's so interesting. But yeah, cool. I'm gonna get out of here. You guys have been awesome. I'm gonna close the channel as well. Well, that was really cool. Let me get some music going here. Did some exploration as well. Hey, thank you, Sandy. Let's get some other tunes. But yeah, if you haven't joined and you're just chilling here, go ahead and just you can hang out in the Discord there. I think I have a link tree as well. Oh yeah, look at that. Cool. Um yeah. I'm going to go. Solid info. Hey, thank you. Dude, I need a Ricola. Samo, it's good to see you, man. I'll tell dude man you said hey. But yeah, okay. Thanks, guys. I'll see you in the Discord. We have a new troubleshooting channel. It's in a forum format, so try it out. Let me know if you like it that way, or if you think we should go with a regular format, like a chat stream. But yeah, check it out. BTVR. Hey, good to see you, man. Okay, have a good evening, guys, and I'll see you in the Discord, or I'll see you on Monday. And yeah, Game Awards. Let's go. Cool. Peace.